there, stranger. Oh, sure. I sure can teach you how to make a brownie. No problem. All right, welcome back to Smart Cookie, everybody. I'm Elise, and today we are making the OG brownie recipe. This is the brownie recipe that was created by the Palmer House Hilton in Chicago. They have been using the same brownie recipe since 1893. This is the original recipe, and I am so excited to share it with you guys. First things first, we are gonna melt down a whole delicious pound of butter. So we're gonna melt that down with 14 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate. These brownies are probably not like the brownies that you've had before. These are definitely basically fudge. So they're not cakey at all. They're gonna be really dense, really chocolatey, and they are so, so, so good. I've got a double boiler going over here, which just means I've got some simmering water, just an inch or two in the bottom of this pot, and I've placed this glass bowl over the top. And that's just gonna help make sure that we don't burn our butter or our chocolate. While these are melting, Smart Cookie fact of the day. Now, you may be wondering, why are there hot air balloons and beautiful rustic historical things behind me? That is because the brownie was created for the 1893 Columbian Expedition World's Fair that was held in Chicago. It was supposed to celebrate the 400th anniversary of Columbus's discovery of the US. Did you know at the 1893 World's Fair, we got not only the creation of the brownie, but we also got the creation of moving walkways. We got juicy fruit bubble gum. We got the Ferris wheel. And lastly, and not necessarily most importantly, but pretty significant, PBR beer. Pabst Blue Ribbon won because they were the only beer that entered into the lager competition, and that's how they won their blue ribbon. Hallelujah, we are done. It has melted. It took forever. Okay, dry ingredients. Half a cup of flour, that's it. Nothing else, just a half cup. Going in. Far more sugar. This is like 12 ounces of sugar. Get in there. We're just gonna give this a little mix. All right, we're just gonna pour our chocolate and our butter into our flour. Oh yeah, good. And now we're gonna stir this all together, but caveat, the chocolate's really hot right now, so we're gonna need to stir this for a few minutes in order to get the temperature down so that we can add the eggs without having them scramble. We don't want like a weird chocolate scrambled eggs. That would be gross. While I'm stirring, Smart Cookie fact of the day. This is also the time period when one of the most horrible serial killers in the United States was active. There's a book called The Devil in the White City that is all about this, but there was a guy who was basically hunting down people that were attending the World's Fair. And he had like a big weird murder house that had like a chute from different rooms where he would kill people and then send them to the basement. I am not joking, please read the book. But like, let's talk about brownies. Let's talk about brownies, not serial killers. I'm sorry, is that weird? We have stirred this enough, and now we are gonna add 8 eggs. I know that's a lot of eggs. You need all of them. I'm gonna be pretty aggressive with it because again, this is the only leavener that we have. All right, we're getting close. You can kind of tell, like this has started to really thicken up now, and that's because all those eggs are doing their thing. Yeah, that's the sign of a good brownie right there. Okay, vanilla. You gotta add that in. All right, I'm gonna spray this guy with some baking spray. What's up, Aunt Pamela? It is like spray paint. Get in there. Now we're just gonna pour in. This is gonna basically fill up the whole tray. Don't be scared, you're gonna be fine. I know that some of you guys are not fans of having nuts in your brownies. Here's the thing, in this original recipe, there are nuts in the brownies, okay? So we're going by the OG recipe, you're gonna have some walnuts in there. Don't get mad at me about the nuts in the brownies. It sounds like rain. Are we making ASMR videos too while I'm cooking? Some of you are freaking out about the amount of nuts on this brownie recipe, and I need you to stop freaking out. I'm doing what they're telling me to do. Now, it is suggested that you kind of lightly pack these into the batter. Like a little tap, tap, tap. This is gonna bake for 30 to 40 minutes at 300 degrees, so it's really like low and slow, this whole process. And the way you're gonna know these are done is just when your edges get a little crispy, your center is gonna stay ooey gooey. So it's not kind of the same as when you're baking brownies out of a box or when you're making a cake and you don't want any crumbs or very few on your cake tester. This is gonna stay super gooey because we don't have a lot of flour going on. So don't be scared, you're just looking for crispy edges. If you were scared about the level, put some foil down. I'm not my stove. So we're gonna make the apricot glaze that goes on top of these brownies. This seems maybe a little out of the box, but it is part of the original recipe and it is delicious. Okay, here we go. Real easy. H2O going in the pot. Oh my God. That scared the crap out of me. Internet, you are welcome. We are gonna add some apricot preserves. And then to kind of give it back some viscosity, we're gonna add some gelatin. That was my vocab word of the day, viscosity. We're just gonna let this boil for 2 minutes, and then at that point you can just set it to the side and let it chill out at room temp, or if you want, you can cool this in the fridge for a couple of hours or even overnight. Okay, look at this beautiful pan of brownies. Look at that. These have kind of cooled off a little bit. So is our glaze. I'm just gonna give this one final glaze before we cut into these bad boys. The chef at the Palmer House suggests that once you glaze your brownies that you freeze them for 3 hours before you cut them. I think you can freeze them or you can chill them overnight, but this is definitely not a recipe you can just cut right into because they're so fudgy. Since we have already chilled these, I'm gonna cut right into these bad boys. All right. So I'm just going right down the center. Oh yeah, it's like super dense, which is exactly what you're looking for. The moment of truth, everyone. Can I get a brownie out of the pan? Oh yeah, look at that little guy. He's ready to shine. These are done, they are beautiful. They've got that really fruity glaze on top, toasted walnuts, delicious chocolate. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, comment, ring that little bell. I would love to hear what you think. And with that being said, I guess it's time for me to be on my way. Bye, stranger. Wait, I need a brownie. I'm gonna take a corner piece because I'm not an idiot.